All right, welcome back everyone to Books, Buddies, and Blanks, the book club podcast for the people who want to read but also feel like they just don't have the time, and where you honestly get bonus points just for trying. We're your hosts, Theresa.
I'm Maggie, and on this episode of Books, Bunnies, and Rockin' and Rollin', the characters in the Odyssey are finally sort of setting sail.
Yeah, there's a lot of water-based plot in this one.
Yeah, you know how, like, in a lot of dramas, the plot is, like, pushed for, like, a major plot point are traffic accidents? Like, the amount of traffic accidents.
Yeah.
In especially K-dramas.
There's a reason that they have, like, you know, in Iseki's they have, like, Trekkan, and as he's like, she's just coming in, hitting everyone. That's what he does.
And then, but, like, it's, like, the same thing. But for the Odyssey, it's, like, the main mode of travel in this book is by boat. So,
I mean,
you know.
It's just a lot of,
the
like...
The amount of water-based incidents in this book is probably going to be pretty high.
You would think with just how much space they have, it would be smooth sailing. But no, a lot of drama.
I actually don't know that much about the water of the Aegean Sea. I do know it is actually quite choppy.
Yeah.
At times. In, like, certain points.
It's
like,
tumultuous.
It's an ocean. I mean, any body of water... I used to row. Any body of water has its dangers.
Oh, yeah. Water is it's that thing that's, you know, we went into this so much when we were discussing 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, like how water is an essential life-giving and life-necessitating substance, but also so incredibly dangerous.
Well, the ocean also had a mind of its own in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and there were so many things that they had to work through. Which is really interesting. Like, it really does connect to, like, the Odyssey that we're reading now.
Yeah, it does. And it's really fascinating to be able to make those parallels between, like, you know, a classic story depicting, you know, personifications of nature via the gods, but then in, like, 20,000 Leagues, you have Jules Verne quite literally personifying the ocean as having, you know, intent and feeling of its own, which is really, really cool.
And also making an essentially natural history survey.
Yeah, he did do that. He was really cool at it. He's a smart guy.
It's like one of the most calming books to read. Well, okay, that's no lie. There are certain points of that book that are definitely not calming. But the natural history survey part, where Jules Verne is basically just listing species of animals, probably that's like the best thing to listen to or read before you go to bed.
It was so, like, in itself interesting, but also there were times when I was reading where I was like, and we're back to just listing things.
Dude, I can't even tell you all the things that I don't even know all the things he listed.
We should go back and just list them all. Just have, like, a Google Doc where we just have a list of all the random things that he brought up.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so funny.
It would be a lot.
Oh. But yeah, and that's part of the reason why we named this episode Rockin' and Rollin', is the waves be rockin' and rollin'.
The waves be waving. They be smoothing along, for sure.
They're rockin' and rollin', and they're rockin' and rollin' our main characters.
Ooh, yeah, they are.
But not at first. It first opens with a wedding feast.
It does. So the end of book 3, Telemachus was hanging out with Nestor, and then Nestor sends him off to see Menelaus with one of his sons. What is his name? Pisistratus?
Don't ask me.
I just wrote in the like parentheses, I have Telemachus as telemarketing, and then I have that guy as pastrami, because I couldn't figure out. I was like, I don't know. His name it's a lot. It's a little bit of a tongue twister.
It's a lot.
Pisistrist. Yeah, I don't know. I call him pastrami in my head. It's easier for me.
Nestor's son. That dude.
Yeah, that guy. So they get on their chariots and they go see Menelaus, and there's a wedding feast. He's got a double wedding happening for both of his kids. One daughter, one son. Same father, different mothers.
Yes.
We're not going to comment on how Menelaus has side pieces.
Yeah. Well, okay.
And yet went to war for his wife.
Because I'm not sure.
Yeah, so
language allowance. I'm not up to date on language allowances, and I'm texting you right now. Like, are we allowed to say that?
Oh,
it's technically not a side piece.
Yeah, we can say that. Yeah, it's one of his slaves.
Okay.
So he had, which like makes it kind of worse. Because she probably didn't have much of a say in what was happening.
Well, we don't know that.
We don't know that.
Well, we don't know that because it could be, because like in courts and such.
Yeah.
Even in like the court of King Henry VIII, it was actually like a status symbol to like be able to sleep with the king. So maybe it was actually helpful to her.
Maybe. But still, there's not that, like, level of, like, this is a fun, consensual thing we're doing as adults.
No, but it's also something that we're looking at it from a very 21st century. This is not consensual, like, to us, it would be, like, the most horrible thing to happen to us. And to us, that I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
But, like, in ancient Greek times, the court system, the, like, you know, like the harem system.
Yeah, and then
like,
and even during
and the sentiment towards like what happened was probably very different. Than how we do it now.
No, I agree, and especially during this time period in Greece, it was very common to have lovers outside of your, you know, whoever's your legal spouse. I mean.
Yeah, and since it's this person's technically his property, I don't think it legally counted.
No, it didn't. It didn't. And you know, again, this was very common. It doesn't take away the ickiness of it, the fact that like he just got back from saving his wife from Paris, had a whole 10-year war, and then we're told like, oh, also he had a bunch of other kids with other women.
It doesn't say. Wait, where are you? What line specific? I need line specific.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's like line 14-ish, where it's just mentioning that son is born from one of his slaves, and the fact that Helen only ever had one child.
Yeah, I actually need to. Well, it was also because Helen wasn't allowed to have any more children.
I mean,
and if the
that is quite an interpretation. Because I mean, it says that Helen.
Okay, here's the thing: Helen only had the daughter.
Yeah,
and Menelaus needed his line to continue. So this was actually an extremely necessary thing because otherwise, his line would die out. His kingdom would go to a different person.
No, I get it. It's still icky. I still don't like it.
Yeah, but I'm saying there were very logical reasons why this was a thing.
I know.
It wasn't necessarily, especially to them, it wasn't actually that thing. To us,
it is. It's just, it kind of takes the oomph away after we spent the entirety of the Iliad being like, look at this man. He loves his wife. He's spending all this time in this war getting her back. And then it's also like, oh yeah, by the way, though, he did sleep with other women.
It was one other person.
That we know of.
Pretty sure.
Especially for this time period, I wouldn't be shocked if he also had random male lovers on the side.
Okay, throughout this entirety of the book that we actually see Menelaus and Helen, he still loves his wife.
No, he is very much like, this is my wife and I love her. Respect. No one loves their wife as much as Odysseus, though. We'll get back to him. But yeah, so he's got other kids. At least one other kid. And I do think it's funny that they share a wedding. Yeah.
Oh my god. It's the Princess Bride. I'll always come for you.
Yeah, so sweet. As you wish.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
but I do think it's
He's
funny
obsessed
that
with
Menelaus's son and daughter have to do like a double wedding. I don't think they have to. It's probably more of like a fun thing for them, like woo, or like maybe they're just like, well, my son's
I'm
getting
not
married, and also
actually.
I guess also my daughter's getting
Okay.
married. Let's just tack her
Here's
onto
the
this. But
here's the thing.
I
So it's I don't know like all that goes on in the weddings, but I do know, given Menelaus's wealth, it didn't need to be a double wedding.
No, he definitely had the money to be like two big grand weddings. But I mean, it's a daughter, and he
Well,
probably
so
doesn't
it's
care all that
mentioned.
much.
Oh gosh, where is it mentioned? I have it underlined. Blah, 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 blah.
I have a side note here because my older sister's birthday is the day after mine. And growing up we used to have to share a birthday because money. So I'm like, yeah, I get having to like share important events with your sibling. I relate. It can be stressful.
So much later. I know I underlined it somewhere. You know, I really should tab my book, but I don't like tabbing.
I don't either. It's
I can't
it's
explain it. It's
it's
so helpful.
it's too much
It would be
visual clutter for
so
me.
It's so extremely helpful. And
Yeah.
in terms of like talking to you and being able to refer to something and
Mhm.
flip directly to the thing I'm referring to
That would
without
be
having to search.
awfully convenient.
Oh my god. Um, but I know I underlined this. Where is this? It has to do with how rich Menelaus is.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Is it when telemarketing and pastrami are talking to each other? Cuz I thought that was funny when they're like
Maybe
whispering to each other like little boys.
it's talking about the purple.
Oh my god, yes. I think
Do
that's
you have underlined?
oh my god, I think I know what you're
I
talking
know
about.
I have it underlined somewhere, but I'm like probably need to change the color of my highlighter.
Yes. Okay. Cuz they got baths, which I'm like that sounds nice to like come over to someone's house and they're immediately like have a nice beautiful bath. I'm like that's cool that you do that. That's a fun thing for you guys. Oh, is it? No, I think it might be when they go to bed.
Yeah.
Because they sleep on the porch. Which I'm like, ooh, stargazing.
They also do you okay. We actually had great weather today
We
in the Midwest,
did. We
but
did.
it was so windy though. Like the air temperature was like 52, but the wind chill was 39, and it felt like 39 because the wind was so strong.
Yeah. Okay, I think it is around 3:32 is the line I have. Because it says, Helen briskly told her serving women to make beds on the porch shelter, lay down some heavy purple throws for beds
Yes,
themselves.
yes, yes.
Which I'm like,
Okay, okay.
you guys are doing
3:32.
purple over here. Which they
Do
mentioned.
you know? Okay, can I just say, do you know how do you know how purple came to be, Teresa?
I actually do. I took some textile art courses in undergrad.
Do you know how many snails had to die to
A
make
lot.
that much
A
purple
lot.
dye?
Purple is
Oh
like a
my
big
God.
status symbol for that time period.
Oh my, well, I mean, and later when people in the Middle Ages, when people actually started having means, they actually had to make
Yeah.
laws against wearing purple if you're
Mm-hmm.
not part
Mm-hmm.
of
It's a
the high
certain
status class.
yeah.
But like purple was so exceedingly rare, and not
Yeah.
just rare, hard to make because you had to have divers
Yeah.
dive the individual snails.
Mm-hmm.
You have to like boil this. It's such a long, arduous process
So
of
incredibly long.
boiling dead snails filtering out the snaily bits and just getting the juices that make the purple, and then it's hundreds of snails to make like a gram of not hundreds of snails,
but
it's
still, it's a considerable
you
amount.
make, like 1 gram of pigments, and you need like at least like pounds of pigments just to make the amount of purple that Menelaus has.
Yeah, which is wild.
That's why I'm like, he didn't need to make. He didn't need 2 weddings.
He did not.
He could have gotten.
Dude flexes his wealth. Which that's like actually a really brilliant segue into what I wanted to talk about next was this the whole theme about hospitality, because when telemarketing and his new buddy roll up quite literally on Menelaus, one of his attendants like first thing was like, "Hey, we're really busy. We got a wedding going on. Do you want me to like just tell them to go to like the next house over where like they might have time to be like good hosts?" And he was like, Menelaus was like so offended. He's like, "How dare you? How dare you even suggest that?"
Can I tell you exactly what it says in my book? It says, "You were no idiot before."
Yeah.
But here you are talking like a child of 10.
Yes, oh, I love mine. Never a fool before, Antinous. Son of Bothus, now I see you're babbling like a child. I was like,
I don't have son of.
Yeah.
I just have that.
It's still so funny though. I just wrote, he would never.
We're actually finding a lot of differences in our translation.
I know, and I'm loving it. It's so fun. But then, like, it goes on about, like, how gracious of a host he is, all the cool things he does. He's like, "Here, I'm gonna make sure you guys are all, like, well-rested after your long travel, take a nice bath, have some nice clothes, have a feast." And he gives him the best food that was served for him. He says, "Here, you take it. You are the guests."
Well, yes. I found Nestor's son's name, finally. I don't know how to pronounce it. Isistratus?
His pastrami.
Pistratus?
Pistratus. I don't know. Pinocchio. I don't know. I'm sure I could figure it out quickly, but
I feel like half this book is gonna be us just butchering the Greek language.
It is.
I apologize to people of this region who actually take pride, as they should.
Yeah, it's a beautiful language, and we're butchering it.
I'm so sorry.
We're so sorry.
Yeah.
And the point I wanted to make though about the purple is that it mentions multiple times that Telemachus is wearing purple. He was given purple robes to wear.
Yeah,
like the lengths. That's the thing. He didn't know for who this person. It was quite literally a stranger in his home, and he went, "You guys look kind of cool, kind of princely. So I'm just gonna assume you're princes. Come on in, have all my stuff."
Well, it wasn't just the assuming they were princes. Well, actually,
no, he did. He said, "I don't know who you are, but you look like your parents are kings." Like, that's quite literally his argument was, "You look royal enough."
What I was going to say is, like, even later on with Odysseus in the next book, like, it makes a point of not to turn away the wanderer.
Because even if you are, a stranger, a wanderer, whoever, you are honor bound to be a good host. It is a point of pride for these people. And so even though he doesn't know who they are...
And if you're a king, all the luck to you. Like, maybe it's a god in disguise testing you.
Just so true. You never know with these people. Freaking Athena out here, master of disguises. You never know.
Mentors. You don't know.
You treat everyone like they could be a secret god.
That was actually
or fae in disguise.
That was actually super funny. At the end of this at the end of this book, when Antinous was like, "Wait a second, didn't that guy leave? I could have sworn I saw him a couple days ago." Yeah.
That was funny. We'll get to that.
Speaking of disguises, there is a lot of animal. Well, okay.
We'll get to
There's
that.
only 2 animal disguises mentioned in this book.
Very druid
But, like,
core.
the amount of animal disguises that I know are coming.
Yeah.
Apparently, gods cannot distinguish between men and animals.
No, they have a really hard time with that one, which makes sense considering the amount of animals Zeus has been while in the act of coitus. So, I guess in his
Why'd you bring
head,
that? Why'd you have to go there, Theresa?
because that's Greek mythology. Do you know how many of the people in this book in particular are the byproduct of not entirely humans?
I actually do.
That's my point, exactly. It's weird.
Yeah, but this is like the one time that Zeus is actually being halfway decent. Let's give him some credit.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. We talk about Menelaus' dead brother again. For like the millionth time. Agamemnon is just getting name dropped every which way in that. Which I had the side note here where I say, I have it in my notes, still talking about Agamemnon's death. Bro already got his own 3-part series. We can stop talking about him now. We get it. He's dead. He's super dead.
I also put, along those lines, is like, long distance friendships are so hard.
They are.
Here you have Menelaus, because, it was like after, it was after Telemachus was revealed to be...
to be Telemachus, to be Odysseus' son.
Yeah, and Menelaus, in true Homer fashion, is like, oh, Odysseus, what a guy.
What a guy.
What a guy.
I just have
He's
this.
like, man, he's like, man, I would just, I could just buy the kingdom next to mine. That way we can always have dinner together. That's literally the whole thing.
That would be amazing.
Like, oh, man.
Like
Long distance friendship is hard.
Like, we have, like, technology these days. But back then, like, even getting letters to people was hard. And then, like, no. And I have this little note here.
If you didn't listen to each other, you would maybe see each other once every...
few years. Maybe.
Well, maybe.
Because it's been about 9 years since the Trojan War that Telemachus is visiting and meeting Menelaus for, like, the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's a while.
Is this the only time that he meets Menelaus in his life?
Maybe. I don't know. Might be. I wouldn't be shocked. But I do have this note here. It's just Menelaus and everyone's mom crying about Odysseus. Because, like, everyone freaking loves Odysseus.
There's so much crying.
So much crying about how much they love Odysseus.
Maybe we should have done Books, Buddies, and Weeping.
Books, Buddies, and...
the amount of crying.
Sad babies. Really, like, every other page is like, and then they wept. Tears streaming down their face. I'm like, what?
Hey, guys. See, gentlemen? True men, true kings.
True men cry.
It all out.
Oh, I have to. Okay, so they chit chat for a while, and then eventually Helen like gets this like vibe. She's like, I gotta go check out what's going on with my husband because I think we have guests. She just knows. She could feel it in the air, and so she shows up, and she's got this portable weaving station, and I was like, hold up, describe that for me more. I think that's so cool. She's got like a
golden staff and the silver basket rimmed and hammered gold with wheels to run on.
Yeah, which was a gift from the king of Thebes' wife. So she gifted that to Helen. And I'm like, that's such a cool gift. That's such a like girly pop gift. Like, here's your portable weaving station. Now you don't have to be stuck in one place weaving. You can go wherever you want.
It's actually really nice because do you know how much mobility that lent this woman?
Right. And weaving like looms at that point in time were huge.
Oh my god,
unwieldy things. That was a cool gift. So she could go out and like help with the hosting and entertaining and be social while also getting her weaving done, which is like apparently according to Homer the only thing women ever do. Ever is cry and weave. Because that's so far the only things I've seen women doing so far.
You're forgetting, Theresa.
Yeah.
They could also get kidnapped.
They could do that. that's an option they have, unfortunately. I do love, though, there's just like a really...
Walk up to some random...
Yeah.
Helen just walks up to some random man. Hey, want to kidnap
Hey, want to kidnap me? I've...
You want to start another war?
You're like,
do
hey,
it.
look, I've run out of weaving inspirations. Want to give me something to cry about?
No, but weaving was so important because
No,
it
it
was
was.
essentially the only... Well, especially the arts, a lot of the arts were one of the only expressions, freedom of expression that one.
Yeah, plus, like, they need shrouds and clothing. Like, that's a really important part of, well, being a person and culture and all that. So, like, it was an essential thing they did. It's just funny that that's, like, every time they, like, introduce a woman, like, and she was weaving, and then something happens and then she goes back to weaving. I'm like, good for them.
I think, like, when I did a bullet point of this chapter, I just, like, put drama.
God, I have so many bullet points. But I loved there was a point where Telemachus and Pisistratus, like, just sort of, like, huddle together, like, and giggling like little boys. They're like, oh my god, it's so cool here. Like, this guy's so rich.
I know.
Like, it's so rich. I'm like, you guys are besties. Which, like, these guys met each other. They met each other days ago for the first time. And now they're
already
like,
best
they're besties. I love it. Which,
oh my gosh,
real quick, I don't know what your translation says, but the way that Telemachus greets him is so funny to me. It says, look, it's, I have line 79. He leans in, close to Nestor's son, and spoke low to the prince so no one could hear. Look, Pisistratus, joy of my heart, my friend, the sheet of bronze, and blah, blah. And then he goes on, and I'm like, I wish we could just call that, I wish men did that more to their friends. Like, hey, bestie, my bro, light of my life.
Okay,
let's have a great time.
Mine says, Telemachus could not keep still, but whispered, his head bent close so others might not hear. My dear friends, can you believe your eyes? The murmuring hall? How luminous it is with bronze, gold, amber, silver, and ivory. This is the way the court of Zeus must be, inside upon Olympus. What a wonder. And then Menelaus is like, nope, not like Zeus.
No. Don't compare me to the gods. I just got out of one more. I'm good.
Dude.
Which, like, smart move. Smart move. He's like, you're young and you're dumb. You're young and you're dumb. Stop that. But I like joy of my heart. So sweet. Bromance.
Oh, that's a bromance.
These two bromance. So funny.
Pisistratus? I think I'm gonna go with that. I have no idea if that's correct, but I'm just gonna commit to Pisistratus.
Pisistratus. That sounds right. That sounds better than pastrami. Sounds more accurate.
Sounds Greeky.
You
know, Greek-like.
Yeah. And then Menelaus talks more about Odysseus, and everyone cries more.
Well, even
Helen's crying.
Even Helen's like that rugged man, Odysseus.
That hot piece of meat that saved me. No, I'm like, dude, Helen, chill. Your husband's right there. They really, again, that's why I said Menelaus and everyone's mom loves Odysseus. Like, he's, like, the guy. Like, he's New York Times Man of the Year, but for, like, every year for the past 20 years.
Oh my gosh. Then he goes on, this is where the Trojan horse comes in.
Oh, they finally mentioned the horse.
Oh, this was so weird. 3 times Odysseus walked around it, patting it everywhere, and called by name the flower of our fighters, making her voice sounds like their wives calling.
Yeah, that was Helen.
What?
That was Helen. So Helen...
No, this is Menelaus.
No, he's talking, but he's talking about Helen.
Yeah. No, this is...
Yeah, no, because so the way the story goes, so...
Yeah, no, okay.
Odysseus goes into Troy dressed as a beggar, which I think is so cool, because that kind of foreshadows how he'll arrive back in Ithaca later. But he comes in as a beggar in disguise. So right?
Yeah.
Really cool foreshadowing, because he likes to do that. He likes
Really
to
cool
pretend to be a
foreshadowing.
beggar. So he comes in
Well,
and
and it
he...
also goes to show that you always welcome the
You
wanderer.
always welcome the wanderer, even if it
You
is
always
quite
welcome the wanderer.
literally going to kill you. You have to for the plot. But he goes and he finds Helen. She recognizes him. And then she's like, I won't tell anyone, though. Like, I won't tell anyone in Troy that you're Odysseus and you're, here to take me back and kill everybody. In return, tell me what your plan is. And so he does. He tells her the little horse plan, right? And then they do the horse plan, right? And they're in the horse.
Okay.
They've been taken into Troy.
Yes.
And
okay.
then-
and then yeah.
And then
for whatever reason, okay. Here's the reason why. For whatever reason, my mind was like the horse was still outside the gates. It wasn't yet inside the gates. My placement of the horse was a bit off.
Okay, no, that's fair. I found this whole description of the situation confusing, but yeah, and then they say that
the Trojan horse is something that still boggles
it is a technical marvel. I'm like, how?
They built a hollow horse.
Yeah, they made a horse.
Did they not have people on the wall watching them build this hollow horse?
Well, I think it was really far away. Like they did it back at their encampment, right? And they rolled it in, and then they're like, "This is a peace offering." Remember, we did that whole funeral thing.
Yeah, but it was also on a plane.
Yeah. I don't know.
I actually have no idea okay, we've mentioned this before. Our distances are way off.
Oh, our spatial reasoning is so bad.
It is.
It's so bad.
Right now, because I'm thinking of a battle plane, I'm thinking Lord of the Rings style, army on two sides kind of battle plane, and you can kind of see the people approaching and see, kind of get an idea of what they're doing.
I think
if it's a plane, okay, but in the Midwest, when you have we're flat. It is flat. You can see if there aren't any trees, which in the country, when there's so much agriculture, there's not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's flat. Or Kansas, even. I've driven through Kansas, beautiful state.
Kansas.
And it's just complete. You can literally see for miles. So that's the kind of plane I'm picturing. So, even if, they're 10 miles away, you can even see.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't know. Maybe that's just my American.
No, I get you. It's hard sometimes for me to remember, that their encampments are probably very far from the actual walls of Troy. Probably enough to, see the walls of Troy, but not enough that, they could really pick up on what was happening. So the people in Troy they might have seen them build it, but probably not see them, crawl inside,
You know what I'm also forgetting?
Yeah.
There was an actual wall to their encampment.
Yeah, there were walls on both sides.
They built a city.
Yeah, they had
they built a little mini city.
Yeah, they had ramparts and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was a whole plot point that Hector broke the gate down.
Yeah.
With a bulk smash.
He did do that.
Okay, my brain's catching up.
Right. So they have this. They insinuate that at some point, Helen, over the 10 years she was in Troy, had been under some influence of Aphrodite and wasn't really resisting. Which, to be fair, women resisting doesn't really end well for them anyway. So I would totally get it if she was I'm gonna be cool. But also during this time, they make it seem at least in my translation, say a dark power somehow was
what line are you?
308. Where Menelaus is dictating the story, and he's yeah, and then through some dark power, Helen had decided to kind of self-sabotage the ploy. She was trying to get them caught. So she goes around the horse, and she's kind of singing, pretending to be, this is Helen. She's singing and pretending to be their wives. He's trying to
Okay, this is the okay. I'm at the exact line where you are now.
Yeah.
This is just gonna be. I feel like half of this is just gonna be where am I?
Yeah.
Okay, where we were waiting, picked men, all of us, for the Trojan slaughter. When all of a sudden you came by, dare I say, drawn by some superhuman power that planned an exploit for the Trojans.
Yeah, he's
Okay,
talking to
yep.
Helen. Yeah. So
Yeah,
she comes out and she's trying to like trick the people in the horse to like give up their point, right? So
okay,
that like
walking around something 3 times is significant because
oh
we've seen that
yeah.
before
They
with the
yeah, it's a thing.
yeah.
It's definitely a thing. And I love
No,
that like
I think that was the
yeah.
it's a thing, and I don't think it was Avatar's
Yeah.
thing. I think
Yeah.
it was she was trying to do something significant to help things.
Well, because they were
Just
singing out,
when-
pretending to be the lost wives, like trying to like get into the hearts of these men, and they were all like super chill about it, except one dude, Anticlus, who like Odysseus was like, "Shut up!" He like had to put his hand over his mouth and like hold him down. It was like, "Don't you dare! Don't you screw us all over because you miss your wife." And so eventually, but he dies anyway, which is kind of like R.I.P. that guy.
honestly, this is just this book is basically Achaeans love their wives.
They do, man. They like their
Except for
wives.
apparently,
They are willing to get everyone
Agamemnon
killed
loves
for
his
them.
wife. Agamemnon loves his.
He
It's
loves
just
his
apparently his
wife.
wife didn't love him.
Well, yeah. Sucks to suck, I guess. But I have a side note here about Helen singing, pretending to be the lost wives of the different men, as like a siren, right? Because at some point we know that Odysseus has a ride-in with sirens, pretending to be Penelope. And I'm like, that's that's gonna come back around.
Oh, you're picking
Right?
up on foreshadowing very well. I actually appreciate that you've read this before because you're picking up on the foreshadowing really well.
I'm also like
forgot about
such a sucker for like stupid little details. It's why I was really good at BSing through like my AP and honors English classes because I was really good at picking up on symbolism and themes. That I was like, it was like second nature to be like, oh yeah, obviously.
I'm more of a themes reader, honestly. I pick up on themes really
I like
well,
tiny details. Tiny details for me. I'm like, ooh, tiny little detail.
Hey, this is why I think you will both love and hate Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I think, but you know what?
Lord of the Rings has like so many tiny details.
Yeah.
Like there's literally books on the notes of the tiny details.
Yeah. Which I am kind of interested in. And I think some of the best books I read are like that, where like there's a lot. Thank you for the reminder. Forgot we were doing that. Thank you. Gotta stay hydrated.
You do need to stay hydrated.
I also, something I find very fascinating about the Odyssey is that the Trojan War and the Iliad and all that is like best known for the horse, right? That's what everyone knows is the Trojan horse. And yet the only real mentions we get of the horse are in tiny, tiny little details throughout the Odyssey. Like, we just get tiny snippets of the horse. The horse isn't even an important part of any of this. And yet, it's like,
not even
the one thing everyone remembers is the freaking horse.
Because it's ridiculous.
It is, and it was, I will say,
it's like, okay,
yeah.
You know in D&D.
Yeah.
Like, we know this in D&D. That one idea that is so dumb, it's brilliant, and can only work once.
And you have to roll that, like, nat 20.
Time in history.
And
this was the one time in all of ancient history,
No.
indeed modern history, quite possibly, this is a general broad sweeping statement, that this worked.
I mean, this is 100% Odysseus rolling like a nat 20 on his performance check. He's like, I have a plan, guys. It sounds silly, but I have a plan. It's ridiculous. And then everyone goes, let's hear him out. And it's Odysseus. So they do it, and it fucking works.
Well, safe warfare is really complicated because, as we see, like, they're already held out for 9 years. So it stands to reason that the city of Troy has plenty of resources within their walls to withstand another, like, siege.
Yeah.
So it is true, like, and, like, in the Crusades, the siege engines that won the war wasn't necessarily the trebuchets. Sometimes the siege towers worked. They were kind of iffy because you could burn those down real quick if, like, an enemy lights their arrow on fire. But, like, the two tactics that, like, really won wars were ladders and miners who dug underneath the wall to kind of disrupt the structure, either tunneling a way through or to try to bring the wall down.
Yeah.
So, like, those were like the two main battle tactics. And I don't know why. It's the horse.
It's a horse, man.
But if you think about it, it was actually quite brilliant because they got a whole entire company of men completely unharmed and ready to battle.
And I do think
didn't waste a ton of lives trying to get ladders up.
And yeah, I do think that is probably one of the most iconic tactics in warfare, is like him using this ploy to do something a little bit more devious and underhanded that kind of is subverted the typical, like, straightforward battle that they're used to in that time period. Is Odysseus pulling out his, and it really is indicative of his strategic genius, that he's so good at coming up with these little plans, that's why he is known as he's known, and as, you know, the mentee of Athena. So I do get it, but it is kind of ridiculous when it plays such a very small actual role in both stories.
Yeah. What? I do understand what you're saying. It's just... Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
we get
Menelaus' backstory.
We get so much Menelaus backstory. It is crazy.
Can I just say? Okay. So, first of all, the moral of Menelaus' backstory is don't set sail immediately, and first you need to offer enough hecatombs.
Do it right the first time, Menelaus, and then you won't have
the first time, and then you'll get home safely. Now, Menelaus didn't do it right the first time, and had to go through this whole affair where he landed in Egypt.
Idiot. Sorry.
But he got super rich in Egypt.
He got so rich in Egypt.
Because he, was it just trade?
Yeah,
like,
it was
for trade.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, you got battle-hardened Achaeans that can protect your products to the nth degree.
Yeah. Plus, he's from Sparta, and Sparta, like, they had their thing going on, too. So, like, they had things, and they had plunder from raiding Troy. They had things worth trading, so they were in a really good place to do that.
Menelaus is financially very intelligent. Like, he took nothing. He went from, like, basically nothing to being super ultra rich within a span of, like, 7 years. And it's like, you know, sometimes these guys, they're kings for a reason.
Yeah, they worked their way to the top.
He was already at the top.
That's true. He just got better, which, I mean, is kind of how the 1% works anyway. So, I mean, maybe...
The main issue is he was having trouble getting home because a different sea god...
Yeah! Freaking Proteus is probably sounds They just call him the Old Man of the Sea, and I think that's funny
Mhm.
because I think about the book The Old
In
Man of
mine,
the
it's the
Sea.
for mine, it's the ancients. Actually, the fact that he's called the Old Man of the Sea in your version is interesting
Mm?
because I've read the Old Man and the Sea. We're just having
Yeah, see, when I saw Old Man of the Sea, which is capitalized like a book title, and so I was like, oh, it reminds me of Old Man of the Sea, like the book.
yeah.
Haha.
Now I'm wondering
Yeah.
because I've read it and I'm like, oh, I see a lot of parallels now.
Yeah. I think he's Amphitrite's father.
The
Could be
who's the
wrong.
sea nymph that helped him?
Well, yeah, no, he is the father of that sea nymph, which is Idothea, who she is sassy and I love her. She's pretty
Okay,
okay.
I think another moral of this story is follow the gosh darn instructions. If you
Do
follow the
what
gosh
the
darn
gods tell
instructions,
you. Fine.
everything's gonna be fine. Maybe someone will throw a fit, but for the most part, you're gonna be fine. Just follow the instructions.
Honestly.
We're gonna see what happens when you don't follow the instructions. Menelaus
Yes.
didn't initially follow the instructions, but then he did follow the instructions and got, captured the ancients by disguising himself as Flipper's
Okay, first
boy.
off, the descriptions they give in my translation, they quite literally just call him like like a shepherd with his flock, because he's like a shepherd of seals. Which, come on, that's
It
kind
is.
of
It's the same
cute.
in my version. Also, they called flippered seals brine children in my
Oh,
version.
oh, that's so sweet. We just
I
call them
know.
pups
Too
in
bad they're
mine.
dead.
I'm
Too
like,
bad they're weird.
I'm like, dang, he seems like a good like seal dad, because he's like every day he'll come in, he'll count them, make sure they're all okay, and then he'll go to bed. And I'm like, aw, he cares
Hmm.
about his seals.
Also, there is a parallel because in Menelaus' case, it's Eidothea, daughter of Proteus,
Yeah,
is a sea nymph, and then in Odysseus' case, it's another nymph
yeah, a lot of nymphs, a lot of nymphs, you know.
who was the daughter of Poseidon who helped
Yeah,
him.
yeah, which is like valid. I will. Well,
Yeah,
side note.
I just thought it was an interesting parallel because it was how both of them got out of the um, situation they were in with the sea gods not wanting them letting them go anywhere.
Yeah, it's always the sea gods. I do. I
It's always the
so
mountains that get you out.
Yeah, I love how Idothea like introduces herself and like the first thing she does is like, "Hi, what's up? Oh, you want to know why you can't go home? How about you beat up my dad?" Like it's such a weird just like, "Oh, I can't answer your question, but if you ambush my father and beat it out of him, maybe." Maybe. And I just have like Operation Ambush My Dad in the margins. Because she's so quick to like, okay, let me tell you how to beat up my father. You didn't ask for this, but I'm giving you the information.
Well, it's not beating up her
No,
father;
it's
it's
like
detaining her father.
it was tackling him and holding him against his will until he speaks to you.
Yeah,
Kind of messed up. And he does
yeah.
though. He eventually is like, fine, fine. Also, they describe the seal in the cave as like as very, very smelly. Like horridly smelly.
Have you seen seals in real life,
I
Teresa?
have not, and I like to keep it that way because
Okay,
I got very disillusioned by penguins because penguins are so freaking cute on paper, but then the second I get near them, I'm like, you disgust me, disgust me. How dare you?
penguins are still cute.
Penguins are so cute, but they smell terrible.
Okay, so
Absolutely terrible.
seals, you can smell them
Yeah,
like a solid 100 meters
which
away.
makes sense. I believe that. I buy that.
Almost
They
any sea
seem like
creature
they
can
would be smelly.
smell it. They are. I do think it's funny that it's even mentioned in the Odyssey how much seals smell.
Yeah, they're like,
though.
look, we cannot let this pass. We need everyone to know.
Oh my gosh. So if it's a real seal and not a sea lion, there's a difference.
Uh-huh.
Seals are kind of like they're spotted, they're super blubbery. So
Yeah.
like sea lions have a more defined shape and they're kind of like longer, more silky,
Mm-hmm.
elegant.
Mm-hmm.
Harbor seals are like so fat and
Yeah.
round. And when they move on land, it's harder for them than sea lions, and it's called galumping. Like
Oh,
galumping.
glump,
I need
glump,
to
glump.
send you I need to send you a video of
Oh, you
this.
must.
Harbor
That's
galumping.
important.
It's so cute.
Side note, as you're doing that, so like the whole plan is like he's got these seals. He counts them every night. He's like a shepherd of seals. Um, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna take you, Menelaus, and three of your besties, so four of you in total. You're gonna dress up like seals, and then when he goes to bed, you're gonna attack him. And so she goes out and she brings back four like seal skins. And here's my question: if this man is truly counting these seals every night, he would notice four new seals, which means she went out and she killed four of his seals and said, here, wear their skin and cosplay as the seals. Which makes me a
Yeah.
little sad. I'm like, that's a little mean. Beating him up is one thing, but you killed four of his seals. Those were his babies. I mean, you're also technically one of his children, but come on. The seals. They're like your stepsisters and brothers. In a weird way.
Wow. I feel like this is like how I would describe my dog in me.
Yeah.
Okay, as a standard poodle owner, my dog views me as a peer. He does not view me as an authority figure.
Yeah.
He truly views me as a peer.
I think my cats truly view me as like a mother. They do come to me when they
No,
have problems. And I'm like, oh my
no,
god.
not my dog. He does not view me as a parent or an authority figure of any kind. He views me as a peer. He
That's
doesn't listen to me all
hilarious.
the time. He listens to my parents.
That
Oh
is
my gosh. Okay, so
hilarious.
flipping forward by a lot because, eventually,
Oh, real quick,
um,
yeah, they tackle him, and he does a bunch of animal transformations, and I just have a note that says Druid Core, because his immediate response to being attacked is, I need to go through every animal I know. Maybe one will work. But yeah, he beats him up.
okay, so flipping forward to a lot, it was, I think Menelaus is still speaking.
He's talks a lot this chapter. He's a
Oh,
professional
no, no, no,
yapper.
he is. Okay, so he's talking about Odysseus,
Yeah,
Laertes' son.
because
And so it was kind of like dishonorable that people thought he was lost at sea because the ultimate honor is like,
dying in
the Vikings
battle.
to go down
Yeah,
fighting.
go down further.
You should die in battle. And
Yeah, that's what you want. That's the best way out.
well, anyways, so oh, he's asking like the information, and it's
Yeah,
and it's like talking about how Odysseus is caught in Calypso's thrall.
yeah.
That means it's not up to him now. As to your own destiny, Prince Menelaus, you shall not die in the blue grassland of Argos.
Nope.
Rather, the gods intend for you for Elysium.
Yeah,
And Elysium is where snowfall is never known.
yeah.
Neither long frost of winter nor torrential pain. Torrential pain.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Rain. I meant rain. But only.
Yeah. So like
only
he's
the,
yeah.
only the mild lulling airs from ocean,
Yeah.
bearing refreshment for the souls of men. Okay, so I thought that was an interesting description of Elysian.
Yeah, it's like the only good place
It's,
in the underworld.
it is. Also, because it says Bluegrass Land of Argos, I don't know if anyone else knows what bluegrass music is.
I know what bluegrass is, but I also know what bluegrass music is. Yes.
Yeah,
It is a fun
that's
little,
what
yeah.
I like the image of them playing banjos and Argos did pop into my head.
That is a goofy image.
It's so
Um,
it's so goofy. Okay, next day.
wait.
Menelaus.
Side note, they talk about Agamemnon being dead again. They talk about him being dead like a
Girl, we
lot.
gotta get moving.
They gotta get over him. He's dead.
I know. Just like you need to get over
I know,
over
I
him and move
know.
on with the story.
Yeah, so they eventually they go to bed. Um,
Get up. He's offering them help.
yeah, he's like, "Hey, have these horses. This is a good gift to give you. Horses. We like horses
I
here.
thought
It's Sparta."
Well, what I thought was really interesting is
Yeah.
that Telemachus very kindly basically gifts them back. Like he couldn't return.
I have a note on our note. I just have a Telemachus and the art of respectfully declining gifts, because that was such a very smooth and like kind way to be like, hey, I appreciate it. Like, I really really appreciate your gift, but like it's not gonna be truly appreciated if I take it. So I'm gonna leave him here with you.
Well, it was okay. That's not everything.
I mean, it is though.
Because
Because he's like,
no,
there's no
because
point taking these horses. We don't have anywhere for horses in Ithaca.
yes, but he gifts them back.
Yes.
That's the main thing.
Yes.
He didn't refuse the gift.
No, he said, no, you keep them here. I would like you to have them. And then, Menelaus returns with, okay, well then I'll give you a better practical gift. And so he gives him a gift that he got from someone else. And I just have this note that says this, the Greeks love regifting. Like, they regift things all the time. Like, I got this thing from someone else,
apparently.
and I'm giving it to you now. And they make it sound like it's a respectful thing. Like, I got this really cool gift from Hephaestus, but I'm giving it to you now. You're welcome.
Well, it's also really interesting to see how different the area is.
Mm-hmm.
Because Ithaca's a pretty small island.
It is. And
But,
it's
like, if you look where Sparta is, it's like the one flat space
Yeah.
between a couple of small mountain ranges.
yeah, it's big.
On
It's
a
big
very
horse
large
territory because they can have horses there. So they raise and breed a lot of horses in Sparta.
Yeah, but like
But Ithaca's not
The
horse
number-
country. It's too rocky.
I know, but if you look, I'm looking at the map, and there's so many spaces, like so many possibilities for different ecosystems and biodiversity.
Yes,
Because there's so
biodiversity.
many like different like spots of plain, tons of mountains. In like California, there's so many like different mountain ranges, and it's like you can totally see why one species of lizard is endemic to this like one mountain.
Yeah, no, I think that's really cool.
The biodiversity is insane. So that's like mostly what I was looking at when I was like looking at the map. I'm like, man, what is the biodiversity of this place?
You're like, I
I
need
wanna
to
know.
know. I'm sure you could find it somewhere.
Well, I mean, if I'm looking at the biodiversity of ancient Greece, I'm gonna have to do a ton of research.
Okay. Moving on though, because we're still only in book 4. We're an hour in.
Okay.
There's like
Maybe
an
we should just
immediate.
wrap it up.
Yeah, there's an
Wrap
immediate.
it up. Okay, Menelaus
Yeah.
offers Telemachus help.
Yeah.
He's like, no, it's cool. And he, let's
There's
see,
there's
what
like an
does he do?
immediate scene shift after this. Like they go straight
yeah.
from having this
So,
conversation to all the way
Penelope-
back in Ithaca.
Penelope is like, oh my god, my son's gone.
Well, no, before that, okay, real quick, before that, Antinous notices he's gone. But not really, because he's just like chilling with his bros. being a baddie, but not like a good baddie, like an actual baddie. And his I am around line 700 because he's chilling, and then the guy who Telemachus borrowed the ship from rolls by.
Okay.
He's like, "Hey, have y'all seen?"
This was the dude who said, "Geez, like one of my ships is gone."
Yeah,
I
he's
saw
like,
Mentor, but I swear Mentor left. I think he was a god.
yeah, right. And he's like, "I need my ship for a thing." And I heard he was going to be back soon, but he isn't. Can I have my ship back? Does anyone know where he is? And that's when they find out that Telemachus has been gone for a couple of days. He's like, we thought he was, like, here. We thought he was here.
It was like, wow, Telemachus actually had the gall to go across the ocean.
He's like, oh my god, that little boy, like, left? Which is funny, because I can't get over the fact that for days, everyone was just like, yeah, he's around here somewhere. No, we haven't seen him, but we're sure he's here.
Okay. Supposedly, Ithaca is a smaller island.
Yeah, like, where did you think he went? But anyway, he takes that as, like, an affront to him. He's like, how dare you? And so he's like, we are going to get our own ship.
Kill him.
And we're gonna kill him.
We're gonna ambush him.
We're gonna get
that he has passed, and then we're gonna go out.
We're gonna jump him
and kill him and everyone on board.
It's gonna be like a drive-by, but like a float-by, because we're in boats. But yeah, they're like, we're gonna get him. We're gonna get that guy. And one of the cool people overhears this though, and goes and tells Penelope like immediately. They're like, hey.
Okay, so he's still kind of a suitor.
He is. He's not cool.
Penelope doesn't receive him well.
No, she's like, get out. I hate you. She's like, what do you want from me now? Which is a fair response to these Cretans.
Yeah.
Which is
and then the nurse finally tells her.
Yeah, she's like, look.
And then Penelope just kind of like
she like, breaks, man.
She just like hit me in the doorway. It's like, why? And then Athena, is it Athena that comes to see her?
Later, yeah, she does. Later, Athena comes under the guise of her sister. Which is like funny because I'm like, how do you not recognize that's not your sister?
Yeah.
Why would you just assume your sister suddenly showed up? And she says, we haven't seen each other in years. And you just, like, are gonna take, like, her showing up in your room randomly, like, just, oh, hey, what's up?
But basically, she's just, like, asked Zeus for help.
Yeah. And then Athena's like, don't worry. He's got Athena with him, which is me. But I won't tell you that. But you kind of know because you're smart. But we're not going to say it out loud. But you know I'm Athena, and you know that I got his back. But then, well, I will say, before we end off this chapter, one thing that really ticks me off is the fact that she knows, right? Like, the Penelope clocks that this is Athena. And then she's like, can you tell me where my husband is? And she's like, no.
I know.
No. And I'm like, Athena, just tell her he's alive. You can say that. You can say, he's alive for now and we're getting him home, right? Like, why not just say it?
You can tell her if her husband's alive, Theresa, because of plot reasons.
I know it's a plot thing, but it's a stupid plot thing. Anyway, and then they're like...
You're telling over how to write a plot thing?
I know. And then I will say, I did absolutely love the cliffhanger that this chapter ends on, where it's like, and then the suitors wait to kill Telemachus. And we'll get back to that later.
Oh my god, so mine. These people, these men, our so long courted queen is even now of a mind to marry one of us, knows nothing of what is destined for her son.
Okay,
what the hell, dude?
Real quick. I'm sorry. I have to go back to this because I cannot believe we just completely casually rolled over this. At some point during the wedding feast, Helen drugs everybody.
That was normal.
No, it was not. She didn't tell anybody. She roofied everybody. That's not cool. That scared me. I was like, put it down, Helen. What are you doing? Don't get everyone high.
Okay, Can I just say, ask what line are you specifically?
God, yeah, I'll
Because
go
I
back.
thought, because in her mind, she was doing
No,
them a
no, no.
favor.
I get her
Everyone-
intention, but you do not put things into people's drinks without them knowing.
What line are you? Where line are you?
This is around line 243. Which is then Zeus's daughter Helen thought of something else. Into the mixing bowl from which they drank their wine, she slipped a drug. Heart's ease, dissolving anger, magic to make us all forget our pains. And I'm like, bro, you can't just get everyone high. It doesn't solve any problems. Plus, you can't just drug people.
It was also supplied to her by her sister.
Yeah.
Sister from another mister.
Yeah.
And actually, okay, I can't say that because that could actually be true in the Odyssey.
Yeah, that is so true. We don't actually know, but they could be, but we don't think so. But maybe, but we don't know.
No, definitely not. But her new bestie in Egypt.
Yeah, they gave her the portable wheelie station, which is so cool.
And this is not a drug; it's a medicine.
I mean, yes. Yes. We could say that about a lot of things, though, couldn't we? Couldn't we?
Okay, so the very beginning lines of book 5, the very beginning lines. You know how every other few pages, Dawn rose with her fingertips.
Dawn rose, yes.
Of rose. We have Dawn came up from the couch of her reclining, leaving her lord Tithonus' brilliant side with fresh light in her arms for gods and men.
Yep.
Finally, some diversity.
Yeah, right. Let's switch it up a little bit, keep everyone on their toes. That's all. I just couldn't not move on from the fact that she drugged everybody. Even if it was a good outcome, come on.
We're about to move on to Calypso, who drugged Odysseus for 7 years.
That's what I'm saying, though. I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page that, like, you know, even if it's a baddie and a good baddie like Helen, you can't just drug people.
Yes, Theresa. I am part of the 21st century. Drugging people is wrong.
I know. I just wanted to make it clear. Super illegal.
It's also very illegal.
Even if you're a queen.
Now. Well,
anyway, you're right. You're right.
Could you imagine the scandal if, like, a member of royalty in this day and age got caught drugging someone?
Oh my god. It would be the scandal of the century.
Really?
Alright, we can move on to book 5 now. I just wanted a side note on that. We can go.
I just point out, girl.
Yeah? Girly? What's up?
Moving on. We need to move on.
For real? Book 5?
It's too long.
Alright. I know. That was a big chapter though. Alright? It was a big one. Lot happened.
Now, we got some diversity with Dawn coming up, reclining from her couch, instead of Dawn with her fingertips of rose. Hermes is apparently the favorite son of Zeus.
Yeah.
And also, can I just say, a lot of wizard imagery.
A lot of wizard. Yeah.
Like, wizard imagery, you know, like the staff, the wands, the whole thing.
The wings on their shoes.
It makes more. It makes so much more sense now.
It does. It does.
Like, Hermes has a wand.
Real quick. I just at the beginning of this chapter, I just have meanwhile ... because I love the abrupt cut from, and so the suitors are waiting to kill Telemachus. Anyway, meanwhile, back to Odysseus.
Meanwhile, we have Odysseus. Basically. Right. Okay, so finally, Zeus sends Hermes to go to Calypso and be like, girl, it's time.
Girl, come on.
You gotta let him go.
But I do love that when Athena, like, goes to Zeus for the first time, she's like, hey, so, Dad, here's the situation. I want Calypso to let him go. And I think Zeus's response is kind of funny, because he kind of just like, bro, why are you asking me? Why are you bothering me with this problem? You do it. You're strong enough. Just handle your own problems. Don't come bug me. And then she's like, yeah, okay, but here's why I need your help. And then he sends Hermes. And
Hermes gets shit done.
which, like, Hermes has a really funny response to Calypso as well, which is like, I like, because I'm like, okay, you're definitely your father's son. Because, one, when he finds Calypso, she's weaving. That's what they do. Weaving. And, the whole hospitality thing, she takes him in. She's like, awesome, you're here. I know you. You're a god, I'm a goddess. We're on the same page. We share one brain cell, as they all do. They bounce a brain cell around the Pantheon, I swear. And then she's like, what are you doing here? What's up? And he quite literally is like, did you come to visit me? Like, all the way out here on this rinky-dink island? And he's like, babe, I'm not here and would never be here of my own volition. I'm here because I was forced to be here. And I'm like, Hermes, you're so unbothered. And I love it. But it was definitely like a very valid, I am Zeus's son response. So much sass.
I don't know where you are.
I'm sorry. So Hermes' conversation is around line 100.
God, you greet me, touching me. Well, here's the truth for you and courtesy. Zeus made me come, not my inclination. Yeah.
Yeah, because he at least in mine, he's like.
He tells her, and she is like, okay, Calypso, I have words for her. There are so many words.
I do
there are so many choice words for this vile woman.
Yeah. Real quick, okay, I do want to read Hermes' line though.
Let me finish my rant, Theresa.
Okay. I have many lines in here too.
This person who has spent 7 years basically drugging and S.A.ing this man against his will.
Yes.
Goes and tries to call out the gods on their BS. And she goes, you hate it when we choose to lie with men, but it's totally okay when you guys do it. And it's like, oh my god.
Yeah,
no,
and then
she
sits there and she lists, like, remember all of these goddesses with their mortal lovers that you guys got rid of because you couldn't handle it? Which, like, not a fair equivalence, all right? You literally kidnapped and drugged this man. That's no. You're making a valid argument, but I hate that it's coming from you.
Well, it's not even an argument to her case.
It's not, because she kidnapped.
All those people supposedly were doing that of their own free will.
They were. I love it. I'll have to look into those particular stories, because I believe Dawn and Orion were definitely in love. That's why we have, like, Orion's spell, like that was an homage to him when the other gods, when Artemis killed him eventually. But yeah, that's not your situation, ma'am. And then she has to go and say, I saved him? How dare you? You did not save him. You kept him. That's how that works.
He's literally like considering wanting. He literally, when she offers the choice of, this is how she offers him the choice. She's like, you could stay here with me. Odysseus, okay, let me start from the beginning. Odysseus is kind of comes awake from the drug, the drug.
Well, yeah, because they say that
staring out at the ocean, depressed.
But that's his day. That's his day. Every night he goes to bed with her because of the drugs, and then every day he spends it just crying for 7 years,
looking out to home. And it's like, okay. The way she presents the choice to him, she goes, well, you can spend an immortal life with me, or you can face certain death on the ocean. And he's like, yep.
Death in the ocean. Death in the ocean. Like, no question about it. Death in the ocean. And she's like, damn, okay, fine. And
she helps him build a raft.
And but what I love, though, is that he's like, I don't trust you. Like, one bit. Because she's like, here's the bit. Hermes said I have to let you go, so I'm gonna let you go. And he's like, this is this is a trick. This is a trick. I don't trust you. And then he's like, you have to swear to me. You have to swear to me that you are not gonna mess with me after this. And she does. And I guess that's like the one cool thing she does the entire time is say, I swear on the river Styx, I'm done. I will let you go. I will not stop you, and I won't mess with you after this. I will let you go. But then she's also kind of like, but build your own raft, you loser. Bye. And she just leaves him to build his own raft.
She gives him an axe.
And I will say she did weave him a sail.
Mm-hmm. Because women and they're weaving.
They're weaving. They're always be weaving. Always be weaving. These women.
That's an important job.
It's got to be on a shirt somewhere. Always be weaving. And then she has, I will say, I hate that she has the gall to be like, why would you want to go back to your wife? And I'm like, Penelope is like 10 times hotter than you'll ever be.
Well, what I thought was actually really interesting is when the description of building the raft, because it goes through all the different types of trees that like go into it. This like goes through the tall pine trees. They have to lay dead and seasoned so that they can float. And then they have like the mast, and then they use strands of willow to bring things together. I thought that was actually really
it was very fascinating. And that it took him 4 days to build it, and he left on the 5th day.
Which is impressive. He's a single man.
Real quick, I do like the translation that describes the relationship between Odysseus and Calypso, because it is so sad and so real. But he'd sleep with her in the Arkan cave. He had no choice. Unwilling lovers alongside lover all too willing. I was like, that's so poetic. Unwilling lover alongside lover all too willing.
I also think what's impressive is that he sets out on this rink-and-dink raft and just immediately knows where he is.
He's like, all right, got it. And he sails for 17 days, just vibing, until Poseidon's spidey senses start tingling.
It lists all the star clusters that he had, it tells him how.
He's a sailor. He knows what he's doing.
This is an important part of these poems. Yeah. It tells you how to do things.
Yeah, stars are important. Y'all gotta study those stars.
Shipmaking is important. Shipmaking is also important.
Oh, very important. All very important.
Yeah, Poseidon cannot let things go.
No, he's like, I'm coming back home from chilling with the Ethiopians. And then his, spidey senses start tingling. And he's like, y'all just let him go. You'll just let him go behind my back while I was away. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what they did.
I think the diversity of culture represented in this is actually, because we think of, the Odyssey and the Iliad as, just ancient Greek, as, a conglomerate.
Yeah.
Just Greek people. But, there's so many different peoples, not just within that group, this, geographic region. So many different kingdoms and different peoples. But, it goes to, Ethiopia, it goes to Egypt. There's so many different people that are actually present at this time.
No, it's so
and
cool.
Have a part in the story.
Yeah, and to be fair, Egypt is a big player in a lot of old Greek myth, as well as Ethiopia. And
Egypt's
Phaeacia.
Been there forever.
We know Egypt. But yeah, so Poseidon's yeah. But Odysseus is well on his way home now, right? He knows where he's going. He's chill. And then Poseidon's we cannot have that. No. I'm still really bitter.
The daughter. It's like the ancient, it's like Proteus and his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
This other daughter.
In her...
she was once an Earthling girl. But now she's a sea nymph.
And she's got ankles, apparently. She's got seductive ankles. She's got lovely ankles, according to my translation. And I'm like, that's a weird thing to mention. I get the hair thing. We're always obsessed about hair. Calypso is constantly, her braids, right? And I'm like,
And Menelaus and his red hair.
And his red hair, right? And Odysseus and his beautiful hair. But apparently, I know, she's got ankles. Worth mentioning. Which is, like, so sad, because Poseidon messes up his raft, right? He's going after him. And so she kind of hops in to be like, I could save this man. And I'm like, y'all need to stop saving. Because she's exactly like Calypso. And he just spent 7 years with her toxic ass, right? And so she's coming in with the same exact attitude. Like, oh, this poor sweet man, I could fix him. I could bring him to my home and be in love, I guess.
She doesn't bring him to her home.
But that's what she's wanting to do, right? Like she wants to.
What line are you?
I'm in like 370-ish, so they're introducing her.
Yeah.
And she says, oh, poor Odysseus. Sorry, my dad has it out for you.
No, she does not even want to. She doesn't want to take him home.
Well, she's there to help him, which, again, I don't trust them at this point.
Okay, she has a very different vibe in my book. Like, in my book, in my translation, she really seems like kind of like this sweet girl who sees him is just like, oh, shoot, I gotta go help him.
Yeah.
In yours, is much, like, you're giving off a different vibe than I'm getting.
She's definitely here to help. Like, I'm not gonna say that's not what she's doing, but I have to say I 100% get Odysseus' response, which is, oh my god, not another goddess trying to kidnap me.
Like, I feel like your translation is portraying her like so much more of a seductressy. I mean,
those ankles, Maggie. Those ankles.
Mine is just slim-legged, lovely, or once an earthling girl, now is a seniorid.
Yeah.
Like, that was it. Like, I didn't get ankles. She looked fine.
I don't know, man. I mean, she's immediately like, oh my god, poor you. My dad's trying to kill you, which sucks, and I don't want him to. And you're a smart guy, so take off your clothes.
What?
It says right here, you seem no fool to me. Strip off those clothes and leave your craft for the winds to hurl, and swim for it now. You must. Strike out with your arms for landfall there.
Whoa.
Yeah, no.
No. We have different translations.
I don't think I think that's her actual, like, if you just take off your clothes and just swim, he won't notice you, right? I get that, but it sounds so weird. Okay. And then she gives him a scarf.
Okay. No, Theresa.
Mm-hmm.
You seem clear-headed still. Do what I tell you. Shed the cloak. Let the gale take your craft and swim for it. Swim hard upon Scaria yonder.
Yeah.
Okay, you have you're making it seem so much more like what she's saying is so much more.
But I think what's important is that I am also kind of coming at this from the lens of Odysseus, again, who just got away from two different goddesses that were trying to keep him captive. Right, first Circe, then Calypso, who succeeded, and now here's a third goddess who is like, trust me and do what I say.
Circe wasn't mentioned. Circe wasn't mentioned.
Not yet. She's later. But again.
Okay, but you can't say coming from two goddesses.
Okay, let's say, fine. He just came from a 7-year containment with a crazy lady. And another crazy lady is telling him to take his clothes off.
Stop being mad at me. I'm not saying anything against you. I'm just saying I don't think you're portraying Ino in the same light, and your translation is portraying her in the same light as mine is.
No, I mean, I think she's coming off very casual.
You're getting very incensed over something that I'm agreeing with you on.
Yeah. All I'm saying is I get Odysseus' response, which is, hell no. I do not like or trust you.
He's more confused. He thinks it's a ruse.
He does, which I get. I too.
For some god's pleasure.
I too would think this is a ruse.
And the more he gets pounded by the waves,
The more he's like, all right, maybe I should do that thing you said. maybe
yeah.
that's a good idea now. And so he takes off his clothes and he takes the scarf from,
He only
and,
takes off his cloak.
okay, in my translation it says he strips
Why would
away
you
his
take,
clothes.
okay, from a survival standpoint, you don't actually want to take off all your clothing in the ocean because you could actually, like, your body, it affects your body temperature. Like, the cloak, I get. The clothes, you actually want to keep those on.
It's fair, but he is depicted for, like, the rest of the, not the rest of the story, but for most of the story here on forth as just having, like, a scarf around his waist. He is naked. He just has a scarf from a goddess. Which is a cool scarf.
Okay, he is not... So, one thing I thought was important about the scarf. First of all, the scarf kind of makes him immortal.
It does. It's cool.
He cannot come to harm. But, notice, he actually followed instructions. In 2 days after he is adrift swimming, many times awaiting death, he finally arrives on the island of Scaria?
Yes.
Scaria?
Which is...
Scaria?
Yeah.
I imagine Scaria is not as scary as it sounds.
Yeah, probably not. It's Phaeacian, which is really close to Greece. Big area. Where's...
I actually can't find it on my map.
Let me see if I can find it on my map. Believe it is up the coast. I was thinking of Peloponnese. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at my map later. I'm also not seeing it. But, yeah, so he ends up on that little island.
There's a ton of little islands.
God, so many little islands. A lot of archipelagos.
I found Styra.
Yeah, that's not the one I want, though.
It doesn't help that the island of Calypso, whatever island that's called, is probably not on here.
No, probably not. Because it's a secret island that was meant to be hidden from everybody. Which is why no one goes there.
Super
secret.
But, like, was the island on the right side of the map or the left side of the map?
Man, those are questions that, I don't know. I don't know the answers to.
I'm inclined to think it's on the right side of the map, because I believe the island of Lesbos comes into play at some point.
Oh, it definitely does.
Okay, so it's probably somewhere on the right side of the map.
Probably. Anyway,
or maybe right side off the map. I'm just gonna Google it.
Yeah, go for it. Google's good for that kind of stuff. Alright, where is the name of the place they're at? I got so sucked into, like, the last few pages of this that I didn't take any notes.
Oh my god, Theresa.
Yeah.
It's a mythical island.
Well, yeah. Did you think the island of Calypso was real?
No, Scaria.
Oh.
It's a myth. The island we're trying to find.
Oh, well, that makes sense. That makes sense.
It's a mythical island.
Oh, man.
That's why it's not on the map.
Bummer. Okay, well, that makes sense, though. Most of the things in here are made up.
Wow.
They got me. They got me. Okay, where is...
Look at us trying to find this island for a solid, like, 5 to 10 minutes, and it's made up.
Yeah.
Wow.
That checks out, though.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, there's too many islands in this archipelago for us to memorize.
So many, and that's not what I want to do with my time. Okay, where...
I have other things.
Yeah, I got more important things
Yeah,
to do with
so
my day.
I thought this was fun. So, when he lands, at first he almost gets thrown upon the rocks,
Yeah.
but then he grabs onto a stone so hard that when he's torn from it, the skin of his hands is left.
Yeah. Which is gross, but that does go to speak to his sheer determination to survive.
Mm-hmm.
He is
He's like
dedicated.
half alive. He's half alive and still going strong.
He's like, I'm getting home. Now that I'm finally free
I
of
also think it's
Calypso.
important. He follows instructions. He takes the
does.
scarf off and lets it float back to Eno.
Yes, which is,
And
important.
and as a last and final point, Theresa,
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really interesting that the tree that he crawls under was an olive and a wild olive thicket.
Yes.
Because olives are extremely symbolic.
Oh yeah, and olive trees in particular are really important to Odysseus' story.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll not spoil that one.
Even in other stories, because it's like in the story of the Great Flood with Moses, the dove brings back an olive branch.
Olives are also a big symbol for Athena. A big thing about Athens is olives. So
Yep.
more there, and then of course there's always again the olive tree, which is about Penelope and Odysseus. So I think it's really cool that it's like, hey, he's gone back to an olive tree, which is like he'll get back home. He'll get back to his wife. He'll do it.
Yeah, but it's also like a symbol of peace.
Yeah, that too. Just like allowing him that
like, it's a very
moment.
universal. It's like one of those universal symbols.
Yeah, the dove with the olive branch. I mean, that's the reason why olive branch is like a term for like a treaty.
Yeah.
Or, No.
Wow, this was very long.
This was very long.
This is only 50. Are we sure we want to do 75 pages? This was only 50 pages.
Maybe we stick with 50 because we're also professional yappers.
No. But we need to move through the book.
We do. And I think we're allowed. I think what we could do with that 50 is like allow ourselves to go up to 75. So like if we don't
Actually, I have the perfect section to like, because it goes from page. So we ended on page. Well, okay, in my book. In my book, we ended on page 108.
Yeah.
And the page for the next section, the closest page to the 75 and the closest page to the 50 page limit is page 162. So, I think we'll be fine.
Oh, so we want
We're
to do
basically reading. So books
6, 7, and 8.
and 9.
You want to include 9?
Yeah.
Okay.
7, 8, 9, and then we'll end before book 10.
Okay.
Because it's actually those books 7 and 8 are actually really short.
Yeah. They are. Yeah. Yeah, we could do that, which is good because I really wanted to read the the one with Polyphemus because I do love. That's such a good story. It's another good staple of the Odyssey is the Cyclops. All right.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. We need to end. I'll tell you after.
We do. We can discuss it after.
Okay.
All right, so we're doing books.
This time I promise to read. I promise I'll read this closer to when we actually record because I read this and then it's been a few days since we talked.
Fair.
Which is why there was so much. Where are we? Where are we? Where are you? Okay, I don't remember this. And also tabbing. Maybe tabbing is going to be a thing for me now.
You should do tabbing.
Maybe I'll like tab and then take the tabs out because I don't like having books with tabs in them.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'll probably try to read this closer to when we actually talk because otherwise it's gonna be a half hour of me asking where we are. Because like in my brain, I know the story, and in my brain I can see where I am, but then in the actual book, I don't know where you are.
Yeah, and since we have different translations, I totally get that. Because
Well,
we
it's
are a
not just
little...
that. It's not just the different translations. It's just like the movie in my brain isn't always
Yeah.
like the geographical location of the book.
Yeah. Which I also get, though, because the actual chronological order of this story is very out of order.
Oh, I'm not just talking. I'm
I
not
know.
talking about the
I
chronological
know. I
order.
know. All
I'm
right.
just talking generally.
Fair enough.
Okay.
All right, so we are reading 3 through 9.
7 through 9.
7 through 9.
Ending before book 10.
All right. Well,
And we will
then,
see you in 2 weeks.
Friday the 14th.
Yep. 2 days before. Oh, 3 days before St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm Irish, so I celebrate that.
I mean, I don't really drink anymore, so I don't do much to celebrate.
It's not just about
I
drinking, Teresa. It's about
know.
celebrating our Irish heritage.
What do you want me to do? Eat potatoes? I already do that.
You know,
Potatoes.
it's more the spirits of the day than anything
I
else.
suppose. I do like wearing green. I do that a lot. All right, well
Okay,
then
maybe it's just
we
another
will
day to you.
we'll wrap this up and we'll see you guys next
Hi.
time. All right, happy reading.
Is it happy?
It will be